What if the world you see is only a fraction of what's actually there? Right now, a honeybee is landing on a flower that looks like a neon landing pad, painted in colors your brain isn't even wired to perceive. High above, a bird is navigating across continents, not by sight but by feeling, a geometric grid of energy that wraps around the entire planet. We call it the fourth dimension, but for these animals it's just their daily reality. Is it possible that nature is using a sacred geometry, a hidden blueprint of light and magnetism, to guide every living thing? You might think you're in control of your surroundings, but by the end of this journey into the hidden senses, you'll realize that we are practically blind to the most powerful forces on Earth. Are you ready to see the invisible? Let's begin. To you, this flower is just a splash of color in a meadow, a simple stationary object. But to a honeybee, this primrose is a glowing geometric beacon. We see a yellow petal. They see a nectar guide, a landing pad painted in ultraviolet light that our human eyes aren't even wired to detect. It's like walking into a dark room and suddenly seeing the walls covered in neon signs. But why does nature go through the trouble of hiding these patterns? Is it just for efficiency, or is it a deeper form of communication? Every flower is a piece of sacred geometry. Those UV patterns aren't random. They follow the Fibonacci sequence, leading the bee directly to the center, the source. It's a perfect partnership of energy and mathematics. The bee doesn't look for food, it aligns itself with a frequency. While we struggle to find our way through life, the bee simply follows the blueprint that nature has already laid out. Have you ever felt like you were missing a signal that was hiding right in front of you? And the geometry doesn't stop at the flower. Back at the hive, the bee builds the most mathematically perfect shape in the known universe, the hexagon. It is the only shape that can hold the maximum amount of honey with the minimum amount of wax. It's the ultimate expression of efficiency and vibrational alignment. In the world of the fourth dimension, there is no waste. Everything has a purpose, and everything follows the code. If a tiny insect can build its entire life around these perfect angles, what could we achieve if we started building our own spaces the same way? But here is where it gets truly psychic. When a scout bee finds a new source of nectar, it returns to the hive and performs a waggle dance. This isn't just movement, it's a data transfer. By measuring the angle of the dance relative to the sun, the other bees calculate the exact distance and direction to the sacred target, even if the sun is hidden behind clouds. They are calculating vectors and solar geometry in their heads. Are they geniuses? Or are they simply tuned into a global consciousness that we've tuned out? The bee reminds us that the invisible world is just as real as the one we touch. It sees the UV landing pads of the fourth dimension and builds its home in the image of the cosmos. It's a master of alignment, proving that when you follow the geometry of nature, you never lose your way. But as impressive as the bee's vision is, it's still bound to the flowers. What if there was a creature that didn't just see light but could actually feel the invisible energy of the earth itself? Every year, a tiny bird weighing less than an ounce will fly 10,000 miles across a featureless ocean, hitting the exact same branch of the exact same tree it left months ago. To us, the sky is an empty void. But to the bird, it's a highway of light and energy. They aren't just flying. They are navigating a global grid of sacred geometry that wraps around our planet like a crystalline cage. But how can a biological brain see a magnetic field? The answer lies in a realm of science that sounds more like science fiction. Inside the eye of a migratory bird is a protein called cryptochrome. Scientists believe that when blue light hits this protein, it triggers a phenomenon called quantum entanglement. Two electrons become linked across space, becoming so sensitive to the Earth's magnetic pull that they act like a living compass. It's possible that the bird doesn't just feel the north, it actually sees it as a shadow or a glow superimposed over its vision. They are living, breathing quantum computers. If they are using subatomic physics to find their way home, what other invisible signals are we ignoring? The path they take isn't a straight line, it's a masterpiece of efficiency. They follow the great circles of the Earth, the same geometry used by modern airline pilots to save fuel. By aligning their internal frequency with the magnetic lines of the planet, they enter a state of effortless flow. They don't fight the environment. They become a part of its geometry. It's a literal, vibrational connection to the motherboard of the Earth. Does this mean the planet itself is a conscious, geometric entity trying to guide us back to center? But there's a catch. In our modern world, we've smothered this natural grid with a chaotic static of radio waves and digital noise. We've built a second geometry, one that is jagged, artificial, and out of sync with the natural world. When birds fly through our cities, their quantum compasses can glitch. They lose the signal. It makes you wonder, if we've confused the birds, what have we done to ourselves? Are we lost because we've forgotten how to tune into the frequency of the fourth dimension? The bird reminds us that navigation isn't about looking at the ground, it's about looking at the energy. It proves that there is a sacred map available to anyone with the senses to perceive it. But while the bird masters the sky, there are others who master the deep. Creatures who don't follow light or magnetism, but follow a chemical memory that defies time itself. Are you ready to dive into the geometry of return? We've seen the masters of the sky, but what about the masters of time? For the salmon and the eel, navigation isn't just a journey across space, it's a journey back through their own history. These creatures are the ultimate practitioners of the geometry of return. They possess a chemical memory so precise that after years in the vast, featureless ocean, they can find the exact square inch of the stream where they were born. Is it possible that their DNA is acting as a biological save point in the grid of the fourth dimension? To a salmon, every river has a unique vibrational scent, a chemical thumbprint made of soil, minerals, and life. They don't just smell the water. They follow a geometric trail of molecules that spirals back to their origin. It's as if they are pulling on a thread that connects their future self to their past. By aligning their physical bodies with this chemical frequency, they achieve a feat of navigation that makes our GPS look primitive. Are they teaching us that the way forward is often found by remembering the way back? While the salmon follows the scent, the eel follows the pull. Emerging from the Sargasso Sea, they navigate thousands of miles of shifting currents, using the same magnetic sacred geometry as the birds. But they do it in total darkness. They are essentially blind navigators who see with their entire nervous system. They prove that when you are in vibrational alignment with the Earth's grid, you don't need eyes to find the truth. You just need to listen to the pull of the fourth dimension. Whether it's the salt of the sea or the magnetism of the poles, these creatures are searching for one thing: the frequency of home. They remind us that we all have a sacred destination, a point of origin that we are biologically and energetically wired to find. When we feel lost in the chaos of the modern world, perhaps we just need to tune back into the chemical and magnetic geometry that guided us here in the first place. But how does a human, trapped in a world of logic, reconnect with this psychic reality? The salmon and the eel show us that home isn't a place, it's a resonance. By studying their geometry of return, we can begin to see the patterns in our own lives that lead us back to balance. But to truly step into the fourth dimension, we have to look past the animals and into ourselves. It's time to talk about the human blind spot and the ancient tools we have to finally see the unseen. We've spent this journey marveled by the psychic abilities of bees, birds, and fish. But here is the truth that's harder to swallow. Humans aren't naturally blind to these forces. We've just been trained to ignore them. We have lived for decades in a digital fog, surrounded by a sacred geometry that our ancestors once used to build cathedrals and navigate oceans. We call it a blind spot, but it's actually a deafness to the frequency of the Earth. While the animals remain in tune, we have drifted out of vibrational alignment. But the grid hasn't gone anywhere. It's still right here, waiting for us to tune back in. So, how do we pierce the veil? How do we begin to see the fourth dimension? It starts by bringing the geometry back into our immediate environment. When we use feng shui to arrange our homes or fill our spaces with plants that vibrate with the oxygen of the NASA Clean Air Study, We aren't just decorating. We are building a biological antenna. We are clearing the static so our own internal compass can find its north again. Just like the bird and the bee, we thrive when our surroundings mirror the mathematical perfection of nature. We don't need psychic powers, we just need to realign with the physics of the soul. Nature is not a collection of random accidents. It is a symphony of geometry, light, and energy. The fourth dimension isn't some far-off realm. It is the very fabric of the world you walk through every single day. From the quantum eyes of a bird to the chemical memory of a salmon, every living thing is following a sacred map back to the source. The question isn't whether the map exists, the question is, are you ready to open your eyes and follow it? Thank you for exploring the invisible with us here at WildFact Lab. If this journey expanded your reality, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to join our community of seekers. Next week, we're moving from individual perception to collective power as we explore the hive mind, how 50,000 minds merge into a single, terrifying intelligence. Remember to stay curious, stay aligned. I'll see you in the next dimension.